Hi everyone, and welcome to another very super special episode here at my channel, Sarah of Horror. I am Sarah and I review movies, series, and put up some other shenanigan videos, but not only horror, but mostly horror. On my channel, I love reviewing franchises. I have done the Halloween franchise, I've done the Friday the 13th franchise, but what I haven't done, which is very weird, I haven't reviewed the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise yet. But that will change today. So today we're diving deep into every Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And I have my trusty DVD collection box with me. And it is signed by Robert Englund himself. And yes, the story behind that, I was at the science fiction convention in Stockholm. I was actually cosplaying Sam from Trick or Treat, so I looked like Sam from Trick or Treat. And I went up to him where he was signing. I gave him this box. He looked at me, or at my costume, and he was like, Sam! And I was like, Freddy! But he never actually saw how I really looked. He just saw that. And then we talked for a while, and he signed my box. And I'm super happy. So yeah, I got this box like a while ago. I mean, I was still a teenager, so a while ago. But yeah, it's been used. You can see little tears and yeah, but it's fine. I like it this way. I like the vintage style. We'll call it that. Let's dive right into the first one. So A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. It's from 1984. It's directed by Wes Craven. It's starring Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, of course, John Saxon, and Johnny Depp, just to mention a few people. So in this first iconic film, we have a group of teenagers starring Heather Langenkamp as the main girl, Nancy. They all share this dream about the same creepy guy, a guy with knives for fingers, not for because they are like put on his extensions of his fingers, so to speak. He has like a glove that he puts on, but we all know that because we all know who Freddy Krueger is. But yeah, they all dream about him, and then they realize that they do, and they're like, oh. And when you dream about Freddy, and when you die in that dream, you die for real. So that is what is starting to happen. So Nancy has to come up with some way to defeat Freddy. Oh, yeah, as I said, I was a teenager when I watched all of these movies, and they usually came out on TV during the summer. So that was what I was like, this, I will make this a summer special episode. It's perfect. And what I do love about the first one is how the dreams are just so perfectly done. They're floating, they are intense, they're very, very creative. And sometimes you feel like you're yourself floating between the dream state and the being awake state. When you're in between, you're a bit confused. You're like, wait, is this a dream? Is this not a dream? I like that feeling. Sometimes not everything has to be like crystal clear. But then you get thrown into, okay, this was a dream. Okay, but that was very well made. I do like the story. I know it's based on like some stuff from Wes Craven's life and some other stuff, like there were actual people who died in their sleep, like young men. Yeah, so it's based on several things here and there, which is very interesting, so to speak. Of course, we have to talk about Fred himself, Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. I mean, that look, iconic, the makeup, just must have taken so many hours to do because, we have Jason, we have Michael Myers, they have a mask. They can just put on a mask. Of course, Jason had makeup beneath the mask, of course, but they would usually put on a mask, and Freddy does not put on a mask. He has a burnt face, he has, the hat, the razor glove, but most importantly, that makeup. So, and also the way he delivers lines. just the way he moves, the way he says things, and he's just so funny. I think that is really what makes this film stand out, is the humor. Because Freddy is he's such a weird villain, you know. We know that he did horrible stuff, but yet somehow I just find him funny. I love his, you know, one-liners. I just, so creative. Love seeing him on screen. And Robert Englund is the perfect guy to play him. Who can forget the iconic deaths? I mean, we've probably all seen the movies, but still, I'm not going to spoil everything, of course. But, you know, that blood just rushing up. Yeah, I mean, that scene, amazing. I just love that. And I've seen like behind the scenes stuff on how they did some scenes, and that was just crazy. I mean, they were so creative that I can't believe that even worked, but it worked. So I mean, good. That's some good like filmmaking. I just love the knives, the glove, and the little, you know, the details in this film, like the sound that his knife glove makes when he just does this on different types of surfaces. Oh, so good, especially in the boiler room. You're like, oh, that sound. And you know, when you hear it, you know that Freddy is near. So that is a good Freddy sound. I love Nancy. You know, I have to talk about Nancy. She's such an amazing final girl. Feels like a bit of like Home Alone, but like horror-ish, because she, you know, she puts up all these traps. She's really being like, okay, what can we do to defeat Freddy? I have a plan. And yeah, I love Nancy. She's creative, she's smart, she's tough, but also vulnerable. And, you know, inhuman, of course. Just like, she's not perfect, and I like that. And I mean, Heather is the perfect one to play Nancy. I think she did an amazing, fantastic job. And I think everyone in the cast were just vibing good with everyone else. They had good acting chemistry. They worked well together, like all the teenagers in the group. So I think everyone was cast really well. We even have Lynn Shay in a small part as the teacher, which was really cool. Also, we are talking about the music. I just love it. It's so good. It just really intensifies all of these dreams, the dream state. Just complements that so well. And also we have, you know, that famous 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And I love that. I mean, once you hear that, you will never unhear it. It will be stuck in your brain forever, 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 forever. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much talking about each movie, because then this video will be just too long, too long. But yeah, I mean, the first one is such an iconic movie based upon all this things I've talked about. But also, I just want to say that telephone, when she answers the phone and the tongue comes out, oh, yeah, that is just, that's out. The first time I saw it, I wasn't really prepared for that. And I was like, oh, a tongue just came out of the phone. What is going on? So yeah, that is such a creative moment. Love that. So, what will the first one get from me? I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. So a 9 out of 10 for the first one, I mean, is really good. And I can rewatch it a lot of times and not be bored and still love that film. But yeah, let's move on to review number 2. Yes, so A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. It's from 1985. It's directed by Jack Shoulder. It's starring Robert Englund, Mark Patton, Kim Myers, Robert Rustler, and Marshall Bell. So a fun fact is that me and Jasmine, we used to have this channel called Bitches of Horror. And we used to like interview filmmakers in the horror industry and also review movies, of course. And during one of the Monsters of Film festivals here in Stockholm, we actually got the opportunity to meet and interview Jack Shoulder. Yes, because he was screening his Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 film. And that was really cool. And he actually signed my edition of the film. So I will show you quickly. You can see right there. Yes. So that was really, really cool. And I think the interview went really well as well. I know me and Jasmine, we're not active on Bitches Horror anymore, which is such a shame. But I mean, we live so far away now that it's kind of hard. It is hard to make time to film something, but maybe in the future we'll get it going again. Who knows? But yeah, the interviews with it were really fun. So even if we're not active and you want to check it out, I will link our channel down below. But yeah, on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Here we have this young man, Jesse, played by Mark Patton. He's starting to have these really bad nightmares about Freddy Krueger. And it turns out that Freddy Krueger is actually trying to use Jesse, try to get to possess his body so that he, in turn, can kill people using Jesse's body. I have to be honest, like the first time I saw the sequel, I wasn't really a fan. Didn't really like it, but then I rewatched it at the festival. I kind of liked it more because I kind of understood it more after Jack Shoulder and Mark Patton talked about it. So I was beginning to realize, I was like, okay, there are some things that I kind of missed and didn't understand the first time I saw it, but now I understand more. And I do like it more. And now I've rewatched it many times since then. And I can say that I do enjoy this one. And I think it gets unnecessary hate, which I don't really understand. I think it gets hate for the wrong things. But yeah, I have to say that this begins with quite a long, fun dream sequence, which is really well made. It all happens in a bus, like school bus, which is really cool. And then we cut to Jesse waking up, and we kind of get to meet him. And I have to say, he is a fun character. I liked his character. He was goofy but nice, and he was the perfect kind of final boy. So there's not a lot of people talking about that he was actually a final boy during an era where we only talked about and featured prominently final girls. So people were like, but what about final boys? Well, we had a final boy in 1985, which was really cool. But yeah, I liked him as a final boy. I think he was a really good actor as Jesse. I liked his expressions. I liked his kind of feelings of, Freddy's trying to possess him, but he doesn't want to kill his friends. He's trying to fight, those sides of him, and he does it really, really well. Also, the effects in this one, they really went for it. They even have a whole bodysuit that comes off, because Freddy's possessing Jesse, which is, it must have taken so much and it must have been really hard to do. But the handmade effects in this one, so good. Then we have, that whole kind of pool barbecue massacre, which is a really fun scene where just Freddy jumps up and out of nowhere and just starts massacring people at the pool party. It's just a fun touch. And then we also have some characters that I actually care about, like Jesse's girlfriend and best friend. So yeah, that adds a whole new layer to the film itself. And yeah, there are some undertones of other things that the film, was kind of highlighted for, but I just think those things are fun. Yeah. It doesn't drag the film down in any way for me. Why would it? What? Yeah, I think the second one, even if the first one had a lot of humor with the Freddy Krueger character, the plot itself was kind of serious. I think this one has even more of a humorous tone, which I think really works for this one. It kind of sets it apart a bit from the first one. We don't want to, we don't want the second one to be exactly like the first one. So I'm glad that this is a bit different in that way. And of course, Robert Englund as Freddy is always good. Yeah, he understands the Freddy character. He understands what to do with him and what direction he should take him, and how to say his lines and portray Freddy. So no complaints there. So what will the sequel get from me? I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So 7 out of 10. It's a good sequel. Not as good as the first one, but a good sequel. So let's move on to review number 3. Yes, so A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. It's from 1987. It's directed by Chuck Russell. It's starring Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund, of course, Patricia Arquette, Ken Sagos, and Rodney Eastman, among a lot of people. So in this one, we have Patricia Arquette. She's playing Kristen. After having an accident meeting with Freddy Krueger in one of her dreams, she's taken to a mental hospital because her mother is concerned. And when she's there, she realizes that all of the other teenagers that are at the mental hospital with her are also dreaming about Freddy Krueger, and that alerts the attention of a psychiatrist played by Heather Langenkamp. So Nancy is back, and they all try to somehow come up with a plan to defeat Freddy once again. So, this might seem quite simple and be like, oh, another story about how they will try to defeat Freddy. How good can a third film be? And honestly, I have to say the third one is my favorite one in the entire series. I think it's so good, so creative. And also, it's called Dream Warriors. And I just love that concept that all of these people, these kids, they come together under the formation and leadership of Nancy to fight Freddy in their dreams as Dream Warriors. And I love that. I also have to say that I really like all of these different characters that are in the film. I could relate with a lot of them, and also I got to know them quite well. They all stand out. They are all memorable, like every single one of them. Also, we have a lot of really cool SFX once again, but the kills in this one, so creative. Like, one of my favorites one is the sleepwalking one. If you know, if you've seen this, you know exactly which one I mean. Yeah, we even get to see Freddy Krueger as like a slow motion puppet, like a mini slow motion clay puppet, which is so cool. So very creative in the SFX part. As I said, good memorable characters. I really like the story. It begins with Kristen and her story as well, because she keeps dreaming about this house. She also kind of builds this house using like these wooden small sticks, and she colors them, and which is a fun touch as well. So this movie has a lot of things just packed in this film, and it's not that long, but we get so many things. Taryn, she's badass in this one. Yes. Nancy is back. I'm so happy because she understands these kids, obviously more than anyone else. So it was quite fitting to have her character back. And also, John Saxon is back, and of course, Robert Englund. And it's just such a good concept for a third film. Good to put this in a mental hospital, so we get a different type of location than from the first two films, which revolves around a home or some homes that the characters live in, and now everything here revolves around a mental hospital, which has a lot of cool locations, corridors, rooms, settings that they really used to their advantage. We also get the scene where Freddy Krueger almost swallows like Kristen's character, and that is such a memorable scene. I think you can even buy like dolls of that scene. Yeah, I think so. I think I saw it in a sci-fi convention or something. But yeah, the third film, definitely my favorite film. And what will this one get from me? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, so a 10 out of 10 for the third film. I think that's pretty fair since it is my favorite film, and I gave the first one a 9, so if I think the third one's better, then, of course it's gonna get a little bit of a better grade. Do you agree with me? Do you think the third one is better than the first one, or is the first one your favorite, or is another sequel your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And now you can continue watching. Okay, let's move on to review number 4. Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. It's from 1988. It is directed by Rennie Harlan. So in this one, we have Robert Englund, Rodney Eastman, Tuesday Night as Kristen, Andres Jones, and Lisa Wilcox. So in this one, we have Freddy Krueger once again returning to terrorize the remaining part of the Dream Warriors crew who survived. But we also get to know another young woman who has the ability to maybe, get rid of Freddy Krueger for good. So we know that there are part 5, part 6, part 7. So we know that they didn't defeat Freddy Krueger for good in this one, obviously. That's not like a major spoiler. But yeah, in this one, I like that they go and dive deeper into the whole ability of bringing someone else into your dream. Yes, because they kind of touched upon that in the third one. In this one, they really, really do it, because they start with it. Joey and Kincaid are brought in to Kristen's dream, and they're not happy about it, because they're like, it defeated Freddy. Why are you doing this now? And she's like, you know what? I just have a bad feeling. And boy, was that feeling right. So Freddy Krueger comes back, and yeah, they really use this ability because Kristen's friend Alice gets that ability, and they really utilize it to try and defeat Freddy once and for all in this one. And I do really like that they focus more on that, because then we get another unique new element to this film, which is explored more, which also makes it stand out a little bit. See, I don't find this one as good as Dream Warriors or even the first one. I do find it entertaining still. I do like the dream settings. I still like the characters, because we get some characters from the third one. So we're already kind of familiar with those, but we still get a few new ones. Not all of them I felt I could really connect with, and I mean, they're still memorable, but I kind of felt empty when I was watching them. Not all of them are like, oh yeah, oh nice, oh I feel bad for that one, no, I didn't want that one to die. Some characters kind of felt thrown in there just to get killed. They were just there to feed Freddy Krueger, basically. Yeah, some characters didn't really feel necessary in this one. Like, they didn't really progress or made a story go forward in a way that a lot of the other characters in the other films have. Me and Dream Warriors, like, every character there that came together, they were really a part of something, really helped, and it felt like it wouldn't have been the same if you just took one of those characters out. But in this one, it feels that you could take some characters out and you would still get the same result, the same movie, the same progressions. Patricia Arquette is not playing Kristen in this one, so it is a new girl, Tuesday Night, that played her. I have to say that I did prefer Patricia Arquette's portrayal of Kristen, but Tuesday Night did a okay job as well. And then we have her brother and her brother's girlfriend, Alice. And I think Alice is actually the most interesting character in this one. I mean, she may be a bit, a shy girl and not really that noticeable, but I found her to be the most interesting, more interesting than Kristen in this one, actually. I feel some of the classmates that they have weren't that interesting. Those were the characters I was just talking about that I felt this movie could have done without. I do get one kill that was very, very special. I even have that kill as a doll. Yeah, one of the characters gets turned into a cockroach. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's quite spectacular. I mean, those effects looked really fun. It was a fun situation, and yeah, it was kind of fitting, actually. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this one, then watch it just because of that kill. Do it. Do it. You also get some other fun effects. I mean, Rennie Harlan does direct fun movies, and we always get to see fun SFX from him. And yeah, this is, it's the fourth one in the series. It feels like a third sequel to this first one, but it's okay. is okay. It works. It does have a few fun one-liners, but it's not as good as the first three, I feel. To say that the more I rewatch these movies, the more I like almost all of them, I have to say. You know, watching these movies, they go by so fast. I think I rewatched like 3 or 4 in one evening, and the time just flew by. I was like, whoa, what happened? So, I mean, it still kind of shows that I'm not bored when watching these. They don't drag out. They kind of quickly get to the point. They go through the story, which is good. It's good. The tempo is good in these movies. Editing is good. So I don't think that anything's kind of dragged out. Not in these first 4 at least. But we have 3 more. No, we don't have 3 more. But we still have 4 more to talk about, because I am not reviewing Freddy vs. Jason, because I've already reviewed that one when I did my Friday the 13th marathon, and I will link my review down below. So if you want to see my review of Freddy vs. Jason, then click on that review. Of course you want to watch it. But yeah, so what will this one get from me? I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, still a good film. Maybe I was a little bit generous with the grade, but I kind of like it still. And yeah, let's see if review number 5 is as good. Okay, so A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. It's from 1989. It's directed by Stephen Hopkins. It's starring Robert Englund, Lisa Wilcox, Kelly Jo Minter, Danny Hassel, and Erica Anderson. So in this one, there is a little bit of spoiler. I mean, of course, there will be some spoilers because we're going through each and every installment. The character Alice, she's also in this one. She is now pregnant. And Freddy Krueger is trying to get born into this world through her child. So yeah, he tries to get into the child and then being born into this world. You know, Alice and her friends, they say they want to say no to this. They want to try and stop that. Yes, I feel that now, after the 4th one, things start to get kind of out of hand. Kind of very, very comical in the weird sense. Yes, because before, in the few first ones, we had a kind of dark humor, Freddy's dark humor sense, but it was still kind of serious. Then in the second one, there was more humor, and then in the third one, it was quite serious again. The 4th one was still a bit comical, but I feel in this one, it's the most kind of comical yet in a kind of nonsense way, I feel, yeah. Yeah, the effects are still fun. There are some memorable kills. We have someone being fed food to death, basically, and then also someone that gets sucked into a comic book, Freddy Krueger comic book. So I think that was quite an creative scene. But as I said, it is a bit comical and in a nonsense type of way. So when this character gets sucked in, everything else gets kind of black and white except him. He's still in color. I think that was kind of really creatively made. I think that was a good creative decision to have it like that, to have the colors be like that, because that really stands out. It's still one of the things that pops in my mind when I hear A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I mean, the story is okay. Maybe not the best or strongest story. I mean, of course they have to go outside the box now and be like, so how can Freddy enter this time? And they'd be like, what if we made a character pregnant and then Freddy wants to be born, wants to possess that child and, you know, be born that way. So I can understand people like, you know what? Yeah, that works. And yeah, I mean, I like when movies think outside the box. But yeah, but then we know that this one is quite outside of the box in a lot of places. That some characters were, even though got to know them a bit, I wish I had spent a little bit more time with them. I would like to know more, even more about Greta, more about Dan, because these characters aren't that memorable as some of the characters in the first 3 movies. they, they still work. They still work. And, you know, Freddy uses them to get through to Alice. And yeah, I find Alice to be even more interesting in this one. This is called the Dream Child, of course, so it refers to Alice's child and the struggles that she's dealing with, and you know how even going to the doctors just to, you know, have the ultrasound of your baby, just a small thing like that can turn into something really comical or kind of horrible, you know, in a Freddy Krueger world, so to speak. They do think about small fun details to add, but I don't think this is as strong as the four first. I mean, I do still enjoy myself when I rewatch it, but I just don't get that exciting feeling I get when I'm watching the first three. So yeah, this is the part where I was like, okay, maybe, you know, the franchise is kind of going downhill a bit for me at least, but it's still creative and fun. I will never take away that from the makers of any of the A Nightmare on Elm Street films, maybe except one, which I will talk about later. But at least, you know, the OG ones. Yeah. So I do like almost every ending and climax fight between Freddy and whoever it is he is facing. I do think they resolve those kind of climax fights in a fun and creative way. And also, in a way, it kind of makes sense and kind of sets us up for a possible film after the one we're watching. What will number 5 get from me? I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, so 6 out of 10 for this one. So far, the weakest one in my opinion, but as I said, still fun. Let's see how the 6th film will be. A Nightmare on Elm Street 6, as it's also known, Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. So it's from 1991. It's directed by Rachel Talalay. It's starring, of course, Robert Englund, Elisa Zane, Breckin Myers, Leslie Dean, and Sean Greenblatt. This one, we have Freddy Krueger going after the last surviving Springwood teenager. Yes, so the last survivor. And also, there is a woman, Maggie, which also stands in Freddy Krueger's way because she has like some sort of special connection to him. Yes, so he's trying to kind of defeat both of those people to win. Okay. So yeah, after the fifth one, I was like, so in which direction are we taking this one in? And this one starts off like on an airplane. So it has a Final Destination vibe to it, even though this one obviously came out before Final Destination. But yeah, it starts off on a plane, and then we realized it's a long-ass dream sequence. And even though I kind of like the dream sequences, I kind of didn't really feel very connected to the character or to the main character, which was featured in the dream sequence that we get to see. So I was like, okay, I want to know more about him before all of this starts happening. Who is this guy, and why is this dream sequence so long and so drawn out? But still an okay beginning. But I was a little bit like, okay, I just want this dream sequence to end so I can know more about this guy, because I want to have a connection to whoever I'm trying to root for. We got this whole story about Maggie, who helps kind of teenagers who need some guidance in life. And then we get to meet a group of teenagers that are living there together, that they do not come from the best homes. And yeah, Maggie's trying to help them, and then they all try to run away together when Maggie's driving her van to a specific location, and they just tag along with her, and she's like, oh, okay. And then they pick up this new teenager that was in the beginning. Yes. So we get to know more about him, and then, you know, Freddy's terrorizing all of them. And yeah, the story is okay, not as strong as some of the other movies, but we do have, I say, one really super memorable scene in this one, and it has to do with a hearing aid thing that Freddy Krueger then uses. Yeah, so I really liked that scene. That scene was quite intense, and I also felt a lot for that character, so that is probably why. But yeah, that scene was also kind of prolonged, but in a good way, because they always put in, whenever there was a new thing, it was really exciting, and I was like, oh, what's this gonna character gonna do about this now? And yeah, those effects in that scene really good. It is still an okay film. We get to dive deeper into Freddy Krueger's character when he was a human, so to speak, before he died and became the evil. No, he already was an evil Freddy Krueger, but before he was the dream killing Freddy Krueger, so to speak. But we get to know more about him, which is also always a plus, because I do want to get to know more about him when he was alive, and we get to see him out of, you know, makeup, just looking like himself basically, which is also interesting. Of course, we get to know more about the connections between him and certain characters. And I kind of like that, even though it can feel to some that, you know, the filmmakers are stretching a bit. They are really forcing this connection just to make people go, oh, okay. But I kind of like that. And I don't mind that connection or that storyline at all. This is movie number 6. We have to get in some more details. We have to expand the story. We have to expand Freddy Krueger's backstory. We have to expand everything. So of course they are gonna come up with, you know, things to connect certain dots here and there that might seem a bit forced. But as I said, that is fine by me. It's fine. Obviously, this one is not the best, but it's not like a bad film either. As I said, up until this point, I don't really think there has been a really bad A Nightmare on Elm Street film. Just less good or very good. But yeah, this is still a fairly fun film. Not as comical as the fifth one, I would have to say. They kind of dropped that. Which I think is better for this installment. The fifth installment, it was okay for that one, but for this one, I don't think that whole comical nonsense aspect would have worked as well. So yeah, this one keeps it a bit more serious, still with fun effects and some creative situations. It is always good in this one. I mean, it's good in every film, I think. It's also fun to see Breckin Myers, because I recognize him from a lot of other things. Even before I saw this one, I had seen him in things. And I was like, oh, that's Breckin Myers. Okay, okay. And there is like one scene that is quite comical. And if you've seen that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the TV scene, so to speak. But that is comical only because of the situation itself, because it is kind of more of a kind of stoner dream type of situation, so that is why it gets kind of comical, and it kind of makes sense. What will the 6th installment get from me? I think 6 out of 10. Another 6 out of 10. You might be thinking, okay, now it's really going downhill from here, because the grade is just, you know, it was from a 9, a 7, a 10, a 7. Now it's a 6. It's a 6. What's happening, Sarah? Are you going to give like the next one a better grade, or is it going to get a worse grade? Well, we'll find out. Okay, so this is the 7th installment of A Nightmare on Elm Street, but it is called Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It's from 1994, obviously directed by Wes Craven. So it's starring Heather Langenkamp, Nico Hughes, also Wes Craven and Robert Englund. In this one, we have people like playing themselves. Like Heather, she's playing herself as Heather. Wes Craven is Wes Craven, and Robert Englund is himself. It's not Freddy, he's Robert Englund. So Heather, She is now married with a kid played by Nico Hughes, and a kind of demonic entity is trying to kind of possess Freddy Krueger to be able to enter this world and terrorize Heather Langenkamp's character. So she will have to play Nancy one last time. And it might sound a bit confusing, but this is a meta film. And Wes Craven really came back strong with this one. He kinda took it in a different direction than I expected it, turned this all into a meta film, and had really fun with it, and it shows. Oh, and also fun fact, me and Jasmine went to Weekend of Horrors in 2015, and we actually met Miko Hughes there. He was signing some things, he was a guest there, and then we got to talk to him a lot, and then we ended up at an after party together because we decided with him that we were going there, because I was like, do you know any after parties we could go to? And he was like, you know what, I am going to an after party, you come along with me. So me and Jasmine, we partied with Miko Hughes like all night. It was a lot of fun. I have so many fun memories from that night. Yeah, he was a really fun and nice guy. But yeah, when I first saw this, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting of the film, but I soon realized that this is a huge lift from the two previous films. It starts out in a fun way with they are actually filming a new Freddy Krueger film, and they have also upgraded Freddy's look and Freddy's kind of glove. It's not kind of metallic, more robot-like. And yeah, it has kind of almost like fleshy parts. It looks really cool. It really does. I have to say that. And the kills are fun in this one. But what I think the strongest aspect of this film is definitely the story. And also, you know, Heather's back. And she suddenly gets pulled into the world where she is now Nancy. That is why, you know, the meta thing, she is Nancy. None of the other characters knows her as Heather because she's Nancy, so she has to, you know, play Nancy one last time because this demonic force is trying to get into the world using Freddy Krueger, and that is why she gets drawn into this. And also he tries to use her child, and yeah, there are a lot of like intense situations with her child, and Miko Hughes played it beautifully, as always. I mean, he just fits these types of roles so well. There are a lot of characters that I do care about. We get to know them, and yeah, there are just so many like anguishing scenes as Heather is now a parent. You know, she tries to protect her child, obviously, and yeah, they just get into a lot of crazy, unnerving situations. And I do like the ending a lot. There's a lot of like craziness going on, but it's really creative. It's fun, especially like the chemistry, like the acting chemistry between Heather's character and Miko Hughes' character. They fit really well as mother and son. So I think that was the right choice for this film. The story, that was the right choice. I think everything just worked so well, and the meta aspect worked really well. So here, Wes Craven really shows his talents for the meta aspect that he would really get to emphasize in Scream, you know, just 2 years later. I also read that this film got a lot of, you know, positive feedback when it was released. And yeah, a lot of people saw it, a lot of people liked it. They liked that this felt kind of fresh, kind of new. It was really something unique apart from all of the sequels that had been coming out lately. And yeah, because I think I read somewhere, because I read a lot about the behind the story behind all of these movies, and they really felt like they were kind of stuck. They wanted to do something new, something fresh. If they were gonna do another Freddy film, it had to be something unique. And yeah, I think Wes Craven really nailed this one with how he would do a new Freddy film if he would do it. Heather Langenkamp, she's just such a good actress, and you really feel for her, and she's once again an amazing final girl. Yeah, she was you know, we have, you know, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis born to be a final girl, but also Heather Langenkamp was also born to be a final girl, in my opinion. I do wish some of the kill scenes would have been even stronger, maybe a bit more creative, but overall, a fun film that feels really fresh. So, what will this one get from me? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10. Finally, the grades are going in the right direction. Yes. Okay, so we have one movie left, and that is the remake. So maybe pause the video and let me know what you think. I think about the remake before watching it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have arrived at the final review in this mega marathon of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes. So I will be talking about the remake. So A Nightmare on Elm Street remake is from 2010. It is directed by Samuel Bayer. It is starring Jackie Earle Haley, Rooney Mara, Kyle Gallner, Katie Cassidy, and Thomas Dekker. Yeah, we all know the story. All of these teenagers suddenly find out that they are being haunted by the same disfigured man in their dreams. And when you die in the dreams, you die for real. So, of course, our main characters have to stop this. So I remember I saw this at the cinema. I was very excited. I started watching the movie. And when I came out of the cinema, I was so sad. I was very disappointed because they had changed so many key elements to this. And one of the key elements that I'm talking about is the look of Freddy. I mean, no disrespect to Jackie at all. He's a great actor, but he's not meant to play Freddy. That's, I mean, Freddy's iconic look, number one, because you remember that nose? And, I mean, it looked kind of ridiculous. His one-liners, they do not work as well. I mean, they just isn't delivered like Robert Englund would deliver them. And I'm not saying that Jackie is an awful actor, because I just said it. He's a good actor, but I just don't think anyone else can play Freddy the way Robert Englund can play Freddy. Because, you know, it is different with several people who have played Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. But that is because it doesn't require the same type of facial movements or the voice, especially, you know, the voice, because Freddy speaks, the other they don't. So yeah, Robert Englund, it has to be Robert Englund, because he's the only one that can be Freddy Krueger and can deliver those lines that way with the body language and everything together. Yeah, that was the first thing I was so disappointed about. And then they tried to change stuff about Freddy's background, which I was very confused about. Like, why would you do that? Why would you even... Yeah, that did not work for me at all. And also the story is very lackluster. Characters are very lackluster as well. It had a hard time connecting with anyone. I'm so sad. I really like Kyle Gallner as an actor. And I was excited to see him in this one. I was like, maybe, you know, if the movie's bad, at least, you know, we have Kyle. But not even he could save this piece of me. Yeah, I was just disappointed in everything. The cinematography, everything. I don't think I liked one thing about this film. And I really did not want to have to rewatch it, but I had to. But I don't want to spend too much talking about this one, because it doesn't deserve to be talked about as much as the, you know, other films. People say remakes are bad. This is what comes to mind. I mean, there are good remakes. I'm not one of those people that is hating on remakes. Like, as soon as I hear a remake, I'm like, ugh. No, I'm not one of those people. There are some remakes that are super good. There are some remakes that are better than the original, like The Thing. Come on. And then we have remakes that are so bad that you're wondering, why are remakes even made? And this film is in that category. Oh, yeah, super disappointed with everything. Really can't find one good thing about this film, and I hope that I never get to see it again. I mean, what would even make me want to watch this? I saw this one again because of you guys for the review, but why would I watch it again? Like, I don't, what situation would I be in? Yeah, we'll see. But hopefully, I will never have to watch this movie ever again. What grade will this one get for me? Giving this one a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. I wanted to keep this one quick, concise, and to the point. And I think I did that. So yeah, 1 out of 10. Certainly the worst films of all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. This has been one of my longer videos, but I mean, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my reviews. And if you did, leave a like and also comment something below, you know, to help the algorithm. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I'm so close to 2,000. I am super happy. But yes, if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, please let me know which one is your favorite, which one is your least favorite. Maybe you can do a ranking of them if you like. Yeah, just comment something, keep the conversation going. And I have had a lot of fun rewatching almost all of these movies and talking about them. And yeah, I just wanted to finish this off with showing you the box once more. I can show you like the extra little thing that I got in the box. It is a booklet. Yeah. So it just contains stuff about every film. Like here we have some reading material for number 4, number 5. I mean, it is fun when you get like extra stuff like this. And you get to know more about certain actors, characters, directors. So yeah, I always love reading things like this. And I'm really proud of my edition of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And of course, the signature. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you had an amazing weekend, and hope you will have an amazing upcoming weekend. And you know what, guys? I'll see you in your dreams.